My 28 female relationship with BP 30 male was one of the most beautiful things in my life, and I absolutely destroyed it. We were together for 5 years, and it was almost magical for the most part. We did have communication issues. Sometimes things would get swept under the rug instead of being properly addressed, but we always seemed to find our way back to each other. Then I screwed everything up, of course. I went ahead and fucked my coworker. It was just so out of the blue that it took me by surprise. But then we made a habit of it and started going to seedy motels around the city. We couldn't get enough of each other. He was 48 and had a wife and twins at home. In hindsight, I don't even know what attracted me to him, but it lasted for 3 months. Sporadic meetups, secret sex, and not even a hint of guilt towards my betrayed partner. BP found out when I left my phone unlocked one night. Universe works in funny ways, and it's just my luck a message from my coworker popped up, and that was it. He confronted me immediately, and I had no choice but to admit everything. I had never seen him like that before. The man I loved, who had been my rock, looked at me like I was a stranger. He didn't yell, didn't explode. He just walked away, took our car, and went for a drive. Within days, he had told his family and friends what happened. I had hoped he wouldn't do that. That was just so destructive and so humiliating. Then he moved out and shut me out completely. His family had always been like my second family, and now I was cut off from them too. Word spread quickly, and I became the black sheep of not just his circle, but also our mutual friends. No one would talk to me, and I was effectively erased from the life we built together. It's been months since D-Day, and I'm still struggling. My BP is young, good-looking, and an incredibly good earner. There's nothing stopping him from finding someone new who will treat him the way he deserves. I know there's probably a slew of women queuing up right now to be his next fair maiden. Part of me thinks he might be better off with someone else, someone who didn't betray his trust. And if that's the case, I will accept it, even though it will break my heart all over again. But I also love him, more than I've ever loved anyone. I want to be proactive and show him that I'm serious about my own healing and becoming the partner he deserves. I'm willing to wait, to give him all the space he needs, and to do whatever it takes to rebuild that trust, if he's ever willing to try. Reconciliation isn't mine to decide. It's his, and I respect that. But I want to prove that I'm not the same person who hurt him. What makes this even harder is that his family and friends will never let me back in, and no matter how much I change or grow, they'll always see me as the one who destroyed BP. I'm willing to fight for our relationship, but I don't know how to navigate the hostility from the people closest to him. Their rejection hurts, but I understand it. However, I don't have the energy to try to win them back while also working on myself and possibly fixing things with BP. Update: I had an unexpected run-in with BP today, and it did not go well. He was with his sister and mom, and I thought maybe I could approach him to talk. Big mistake. As soon as I got close, BP's reaction was intense, way stronger than I expected. He spiraled into anger immediately, and I could see he was struggling to keep it together. His sister jumped in too and almost caused a scene. I was so startled by how strong his reaction was. After D-Day, he was devastated, heartbroken, disgusted, but this was the first time I saw him full of white-hot rage. I can't help but wonder if his family is playing a part in all of this. I mean, I already knew they were angry with me, understandably so, but it feels like they're fueling BP's anger now. I'm starting to think that him staying with them has made it harder for him to process things in his own way. Maybe they've been filling his head with ideas, keeping the wound open rather than letting it start to heal. It's a shocker, right? Families sometimes get too involved, and it seems like they're doing exactly that. I've been trying to stay hopeful about the possibility of reconciliation, but after seeing BP's reaction and how his family responded, I'm wondering if they're making it impossible for us to ever talk again. On top of all that, there's another issue weighing on me. A lot of people who barely know us seem to have heard about the affair. I'm scared it's spreading faster than I can control, and it's only a matter of time before AP's wife finds out. The last thing I want is to drag more people into this mess. But with how fast the gossip is traveling, I'm not sure what to do. This entire situation is overwhelming, and every time I think I can manage the consequences, something else blows up in my face. Seeing BP like that really shook me. Now I'm wondering if there's even a chance for us, or if this anger is going to burn everything down for good. Story 2. When we were sleeping around, she had 3 guys on the side, hid 2 of them for a year and a half, now engaged across the country, claims they weren't physical. I met my now partner when she was 17 and I was 20. I recognized her on Facebook, was down in the pits and decided to add her. I was unaware of the age gap, and I felt drawn to her, and we ended up talking rather heavily for a few months. We became friends in August of 18 and remained platonic until March of 19. It was established early on that things were going to remain PG. I was off-put when I realized her age, and she respected that. I needed someone to talk to as I was going through a lot, had been cheated on for 3 years and finally got out of denial about it. She was very kind and supportive and just pointed out the obvious. I care too much for someone like that. She doesn't deserve me, so on and so forth. I have a history with being cheated on. Literally everyone has cheated on me, likely due to lack of confidence and self-love. That didn't seem to hold weight to my friend at the time. She was very, very supportive of the fact that you don't do that to someone you love. You can't, or you don't love them, this and that. Moving forward, we hung out in group settings every couple of weeks or so, established a real friendship, and it felt nice as I didn't have many good friends at the time. Looking back, I did see she threw an innuendo, an invitation every here and there. But I'm by no means smooth, and it flew over me. Around my birthday, the day we became involved, she asked me for my opinion on her nudes, who she intended to send to someone else, but trusted my non-sexually charged response for. We flirted back and forth for a little, then she ghosted me for 3 days. On my birthday, we had sex in my car. She established early on that she wanted to proceed as FWB and that she is absolutely not ready to commit or have someone feel entitled to her. Red flag, but she tried to warn me. I was a recently hurt lover boy, and she hit just about every mark I could make for a woman, other than the fact that she was a lost 18-year-old. We proceeded to sleep together while showing signs of wanting more, but her consistently withdrawing and going MIA every few nights. Around July, we established we were working towards a relationship. By September, she had a key to my app and used my car sometimes while I was at work. By January, we were committed with a label, and now we're engaged and moved across the country. In August of 19, I learned that she had spent time and given attention to a 26 male, AP1, who was pretty much capitalizing on her young broken heart. She was cheated on in a relationship she officially left 1 day after we had sex. She began accepting his emotional support prior to both. She cuddled him twice, never kissed, never got sexual, and her messages do back that up. However, she was doing the same, but on a sexually supportive level with a 20 male, AP2, and kind of doing the same on a friendly supportive level, but could fuck if she so pleased, with a 19 male, AP3. She deleted messages with everyone other than AP1 in May 2019. She claims she never saw anyone anytime I didn't know about, and no sexual conversations ensued past May. She did see AP3 shortly after our 3rd time sleeping together. They hung out in public for an hour, so I was told. She told me she ran into him downtown. Later discovered she actually spent 4 hours in one, not very believable spot, and planned on doing so while actively lying to me. She didn't have much contact I have proof of beyond that. Other than 2 times she neglected to mention she could hang out whenever because her boyfriend had a car, but certainly showed interest in hanging out when the stars align. AP2 would message her from May-August at 2 to 3 a.m., which she would respond to immediately, but no messages beyond that, or ignore if she was with me, and respond at a similar time the following evening. In August, she told him to cut it out because she didn't like the attention. He didn't abide, which is suspect to me. She admitted that she sent him those nudes she sent me shortly after ghosting me for those few days. He denied that happening, which is suspect. I did not know she flirted with anyone other than AP1 until 3 or so weeks ago. She lied about her sexual past with AP3, even after I was showing her his explanation of their history to me. All 3 told me what their history was, but AP1 had motive to lie because he was 7 years older than her and she was a minor when their thing began. AP2 and she had cheated on others with each other consistently, and God knows cheaters hold a code W each other. AP3 moved cross-country to live with a girlfriend that he would have been cheating on had there been anything other than friendly convo from the point she and I began having sex. There's a lot to her background, and honestly, I understand why what happened. However, she will not fill in many blanks, which leads me to believe she could have possibly cheated all the way until we labeled our relationship. Or possibly 2 months beyond that. We spent every day together since quarantine. She knows I will not abandon her and that I've already forgiven her for what I do not know, but hold strong on that there is nothing else. She did lie to me about this over the last 3 weeks. I do believe she loves me and has every intention of being loyal, and throughout regrets her actions. I just want to know what y'all think. Am I helping her get on her feet until she's ready to detach? Is the fact that it looks like more, but she denies it, a sign that this is not over with? I love her to death and want nothing but the best for her. If she would be happier elsewhere, that's what I would prefer. I just don't think she can be fully honest with herself. I think she's in denial or cannot face exactly how badly she did me. I also made a mistake or two, but nothing nearly this far. What are our routes? What resources do we have? How does one move past the denial of their actions? How do we rebuild trust? Thank you. You've been through a lot, and the constant trickle of information, the lying and the half-truths are damaging to any kind of trust you're trying to build. It's even harder when she's not willing to fill in the blanks, leaving you to piece things together on your own. That feeling of constantly questioning everything can be exhausting and mentally draining. One big red flag here is that she hasn't been fully honest with you. Even after you've shown so much patience and understanding, the fact that it took this long for you to learn the full extent of her emotional involvement with multiple people, even though she had chances to come clean earlier, shows that there's a bigger issue with transparency. It also seems like there's still a lot of denial or avoidance on her part. Until she's willing to be fully honest with herself and with you, it's going to be hard to move forward in a healthy way. I think it's worth asking yourself how long you're willing to wait for her to take that step, and whether she's genuinely committed to healing and being fully accountable for her actions. You've been more than patient, and you deserve to feel secure in the relationship, not constantly questioning what else might be hidden.